Hi everybody, in this video, which is step 4, we'll be editing the decision tree. I'm going to go back into LeadsHook, and this is what my decision tree looks like after importing it. So I'll just preview this. I've made some changes just in case when I have any copyright issues. So just stand with Trump and stand with the Democrats and submit vote and see results with an email field in the middle over here. To edit this, go ahead and open up the form node. We've got a lot of training about how to use LeadsHook in courses.leadshook.com. So if you're not familiar with the platform, that's where you want to go. Right, so I've just added in 2 buttons manually within the text editor, and I've got an email field at the bottom with my submit button at the bottom over here. So how do I edit this? So it's going to go into source, and as you can see here, I've added this in as a code. And the reason for doing that is to basically replicate what we had originally shared, which is this page. Oops, not that one. Which is this one here, to show you because the voting and the email field as well as the button was on the same page basically. So that's how that is being done over here. I think also one way to another way to do this would be to actually separate this out into 2 nodes. So have your name and email field as your first one, which is choosing the multiple choice option and having the same question, and then answer 1 and answer 2, which is the Trump and Democrats answer over here. So that would be the other way of doing it, and that means, let's say if you do proceed with that, then you would have this going into this, and on the form node you will remove this over here. So the top part will be taken care of by this additional question above it. So all people will see, if we were to set it up that way, is just the question and answer. So it's just one choice to make, and then the email to see the results. So I think that's also a good alternative to test with. And in my experience, I don't think it'll dramatically drop response, but once again, only a tester would validate that hypothesis. So go ahead and do that as well if you find that this code editing is not something you enjoy. But it's really not that difficult, because that's the whole point of giving you this template, so that you can just go ahead and make your simple edits. So firstly, what are we seeing over here is that's the field in which the value is being saved. The type is radio and the value is Trump. In order to change the color, so that's the text that we've got, which is stand with Trump, and that's the color that we're using, which is the white colored font. If you want to change the color of the actual background color, then we've got that sitting right over here, which is the background color. So, and that's the border color, and that's the background color. So it's sitting as RGB, but you can change it to hex as well if you wanted to. All right, so that's all you're going to be editing over here to change the colors. That's the color of the text. Similarly, the color of the background for the other button, which is the Democrats button, and that's the color of the text. So FFF, or 5 Fs I should say, or 6 Fs means it's a white color, and that's why it looks like that. So that's how you would go ahead and change the color in the border, and that's to edit this. And as soon as you do, it'll change the colors over here. Come down here to change any button copy that you have. You're going to edit your button copy over here. You can add image buttons too if you prefer not to use this sort of text thing and have something fancy. Then by all means, you can go ahead and do that as well by using image buttons, and just go ahead and select your button that you can upload into LeadsHook. So I'm going to keep this as is. And here's the text color as well as the color of the background of the button, and you've got the alignment as well as the size options over here. You can add a border as well. This is if you're in the UK and you need to do GDPR, that sort of thing, then that's available over here. We've got training on that, so go ahead and consume that. If you need to add a spam policy or spam privacy policy, anything of that sort, or anti-spam policy I should say, add that over here as well, and go ahead and press save, and you're done. All right, so that's all the editing that you'll do for this specific decision tree, and you can create the variation would be just a question and answer and then directly into the email and button. Otherwise, just go ahead and just edit this as you wish, and we're going to just do that. Now I do want to share a few things. The firstly is the fields that we've got. So firstly, who do you stand with? So if you put Trump, it'll replace it as Trump. If you have Democrats, it'll replace it as Democrat. And then comes the more important parts, which is the total count of the total number of votes. This is going to be the total count of the Democrat vote, and that's going to be total count of the Trump vote. So let's say, for example, if 10 people have voted, and you've got 5 people who voted Democrat and 5 people who voted Trump, then you'll see 10 here, 5 here, and 5 here. All right, so once again, when we go through the final test at the end, you'll be able to see those numbers, but in a nutshell, that's what it is. Now, there's an extra video being done at the end where you can go and understand how all this is being done inside LeadsHook, all the calculations and stuff. I didn't want to needlessly add the technical stuff at this stage because there's a separate video for that. And you can just go ahead and make your various changes you need to. You can continue to use if you are only going to use in a polling situation a plus or a negative or positive, or a option A versus option B, much like what the strategy is showing you. Then you can just continue to use even these fields. Like obviously they're not Democrats, but you can continue to use the fields for Democrats and Trump, and you won't have to change much here. All right, so I hope that sort of makes sense as to what to do next. Otherwise, yeah, just go ahead and press publish and do a quick test, and your numbers should all work. Right, so that completes step 4, and now we'll move on to step 5, which is transferring the leads. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.